everyone, this is Georgia, the Dream Coach. If it's your first time here, welcome, welcome. If you've been here before, hey girl and guys, welcome back to my channel. On this channel, I am a motivational speaker, I'm a life coach. So I encourage people to get up from where you are. I also do Poshmark. I'm also a posher as well. I have two Poshmark channels at this point. I'll get into those as well. And so today I'm just gonna go get right into it because I tend to be long-winded and I don't want this video to last a million years. So I'm just gonna jump right in and talk about the 7 things that you should do before you start Poshmark, or 7 things I wish I had known actually before I started going on Poshmark. So it started about a year ago, a little over a year, September 18th. I started, and I can't believe it's been a year since I started on Poshmark. And when I was doing that, because I'm a little bit of a nerdy, so I'm one of those people that I'm going to research before I do anything. I research it. So I went, to look at side hustles and see, what was out there. And I found Poshmark one of the things that kind of like spoke to me, because I was looking at different avenues, what I could do without too much effort, without have to go anywhere, because I still work my job. So I was trying to go down part-time. So I'm working full-time at my job. So I went part-time in 32 hours, of course, and I worked. Then on the days that I'm off, which are, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, I do my own thing, my own business or whatever. So I decided to do that. So when I started, I was like, okay, I just kind of like, oh, well, let me just go ahead and get some clothes and just put it up there, and that's it. I just get started. So one of the first thing I learned, I'm gonna be looking over here, looking down, so you may see me doing that. And one of the first thing, like I said, I'm jumping right into this, is brands. When I started in Poshmark, I can't even begin to tell you there's so many brands, and people say go to the bin, but there's so many brands out there that probably shouldn't have bought anyways, but I didn't know, because I didn't do the research correctly. So when I went to the bins, I saw some brands and I said, hey, these will sell, not knowing that if it's not the right brand, it will not sell on Poshmark. Like stuff like Gap, Old Navy. Well, let me say this first. They may sell for other people, they just don't sell for me. Okay, so I have a lot of Gap. I had a lot of Gap, Old Navy, Forever 21. Even though I love Forever 21 clothing, for the most part, of course, a little bit young for me, since I'm in my 50s. But I still like some of the items, but they sat in my closet. In fact, some of them still sitting after 9 months or after a year. They're still in my closet. A few of them, most of them are sold when I started with, but for the most part, they didn't sell. So just be careful of your brands. Number two is number two, just because the item says it's new and new with tags, or should have a tag in it, doesn't mean anything if it's not the right brand. I can't even begin to tell you how much things. Back to my first point about those brands that I have. I have a lot of Old Navy, brand new. A lot of Forever 21, still with tag. They didn't sell. Until recently, they didn't sell. So be careful. Number one, your brands. And number two, just because it says it's new with tags, don't mean nothing on Poshmark. It will sit there. And you're like, at first I'm like, what? Why is that selling? It's brand new. It still has a tag on it. I picture the tag. Yeah, but the brand is not right, so the tag doesn't matter, because on Poshmark, they just don't buy it. Okay? All right, so the third thing is lighting. I started out with a Samsung phone. Not anything is wrong with the Samsung, but my Samsung phone did not take great pictures. So when I started, my pictures were dark. I mean, just you could barely see it. So when all these examples that I'm giving you, it's just because of experience. Because experience is the best teacher. So if you don't experience these things sometime, you'll never know better. So I just want you not to go, if you plan on starting a channel, which is fairly simple. You just need to create a page and get yourself a good name. If this is something that you wanted to do, I just want to give you some things that to help you out. So lighting and your camera. So like I said, I started with a Samsung phone, and I jumped ship. At some point I'm gonna buy myself a camera, a vlogging camera. But for now, those things are a lot. So for now, I invested myself in an iPhone. I had to do that because so that I could get better pictures. So what I ended up doing is it took me a couple of days where I would go to my entire closet. At that point, I had like probably about 400 items. I went to my entire closet and take a picture of every item that I had in my closet and put it back up there, just so the picture would be so dark, because I started out with some dark pictures. So lighting, I, I invested in a ring light. I went to Amazon and I got me a ring light, and then I got a good camera, or my cell phone, like I said before. So go ahead and do that. I've been to people's page. People have shared my page, and I've tried to share their page back, and I'm like, what is it? Literally. And I said, is that the way my picture looked? And I went back and, yeah, I'm not going to lie, it looked pretty much like that. And so that's one of the things. You got to make sure that your pictures, that they look right. You know, I couldn't find, and a lot of people, pages I went to, I couldn't find anything that I would look at and really didn't know what it is, or it's so dark. You're like, oh my God. Just to be careful with that as well. Okay. And the next thing is that I'm going to talk to you about is pricing. Pricing your item well. Now, you know that you went to the store and you bought a pocketbook for, I don't know, $300 or whatever the case may be. I personally would never do that because I'm cheap, so I wouldn't even spend that anyways. But that's just me. But anyways, you purchase a pocketbook for $300 and you have it for a couple of years. And you say, okay, I'm putting it on Poshmark. You sell it for 300 or 200. You can sell it for 200. You can't. You have to make, first of all, maybe if you know what, let me take that back. I guess it depends on the brand that you know, the type of brand that it is. So one of the first things you want to do when you check it, making sure that your closet, that the pricing is right, is you would go onto your page, right? And you would go onto your Poshmark page. You go to listing and you type in the item, the description of the item, or the brand that it is. So if it's a whatever brand it is. So I'm just going to use Old Navy, for instance. So I'm going to go to Old Navy and I'm going to put in the description bar, and it said for women, Old Navy or black Old Navy dress, whatever. And they'll put it up, and then you'll see pricing from $5 up to $50 for the particular item, right? But to know exactly what it's sold for, you click on sold. You click on sold, and that will tell you what it's sold for, and then you could decide based on what it's sold for what you think your item was going to be worth. Because on the sold item, on the sold page, you will see once again, you see 4 up to 50. So you have to figure out how much you purchase your item for, and what is the lowest price that you would take for it. It's like your bottom line. What's your bottom line price? And that's what you put up the price for. So you don't want to price it too high and it doesn't sell. You don't want to price it too low and people have an impression that your item is not good. So that's why I said it's so low. So it's a fine line. You have to kind of like navigate which way you want to go, and that's a decision you have to make based on what it's sold for. But at least you get an idea that if the highest price, if you look into all the sold item, and if the highest you've seen it, you know, for is $100, well then you can't sell it for $200. No, because in most cases it's not going to sell. So whatever price is the highest price, when you look into all the sold item, you see it at a really high price. Just kind of mark your goods accordingly. Okay. All right. So the next item after that is checking your merchandise. I cannot begin to tell you how many times I have put my merchandise, went to the bin, especially when I when I buy things at the bin, like I do in most cases. I do get other places as well, but a lot of times I go back to the bin. I travel to South Asia. I've actually been to different places, regular store, but you know what? The item doesn't sell. Even when I went to a regular store, it still sits there. So I'm like, okay, why am I going to a regular store when I could go to the bins, and it makes a difference where it's coming from, really. I guess it depends on the item, but from my price point, it doesn't really matter. So, you know, I'm looking at these items and I'm like, here it is. Check the description. When you purchase your item from the bins, especially like I was saying before, make sure that you examine this, like really examine this, your item. And I've been home, I bought those beautiful shoes, and I was so mad because it didn't look, wasn't checking it. And when I got home and touched the heel, I found that it was broken. So it's like that, the first and the last time this happening to me. So I've learned to really check the item. So for instance, these shoes, right? I have these shoes up here, and one of the things that I make sure of when I go to the bins, I'm looking at the bottom of the shoe, I'm looking at the creases, I'm looking at the inside. This is a Steve Madden size 10, by the way, which is available in my closet. But anyways, so I'm looking at the heel, make sure the tip is there, the back, making sure the heel is not rocky, and I'm doing all points check on these, quality control check on these shoes, just to make sure that nothing is wrong. Okay, so that's for the shoe. And I'm telling you, I've done it so many times that you have to be careful. The same thing with pocketbook that I found that I didn't realize when I started selling it, right? So here's this beautiful pocketbook, right? And I didn't really check as much as I need to check. Checking the handle of the bag, right? Making sure they're good. The straps works good. I'm looking at the inside of the bag. Make sure the zipper works, okay? Making sure the zipper is working. Make sure it's not dirty on the inside of the bag, all right? And then go to the bottom of the bag. I'm looking at the bottom. I'm looking at all these creases. I'm looking at all of this. Just trying to make sure that everything is good, that it doesn't smell like smoke. You know, all of these things are so important. This is also available, by the way. I brought it up for an example, okay? And that's it. And then the next item is share. Share. It's important. People say, oh, share your own closet, but you don't have to share anybody else. But if somebody's sharing my closet, I'm gonna share about their closet, right? I'm sharing their closet back because they wouldn't have the courtesy of sharing mine. So why not share back theirs? I do share my closet on a regular basis. That's something you need to do anyway. Okay, I noticed that nowadays you're having companies that you could pay to share your closet for you. So that's beside the point, but that's something you could do as well. And they say it increase your sales, right? Okay, so that's one of the things. So when I'm sharing, for instance, if I am a Posh ambassador, right? That's just means I sell a certain amount, so you get the status of Posh ambassador, which doesn't really help me out, really. It's really make a difference. It doesn't really make a difference, is what I'm trying to say, in whether I sell or not. But as far as sharing goes, I'm looking at these people who are sharing. If somebody shared my closet, I have maybe about 30, since I started, about 29,000, somewhere around in there, not quite 30,000 yet, right? So if somebody shared my closet, they have 70,000 followers, right? 80,000 followers, 167,000 followers, and I have 29,000 followers. They share one of my items to their page. The least I could do is share back, because compared to my 29,000 followers, they got over 100,000 followers. You think I'm not going to share their page? Of course I'm going to share their page. Of course, because it's an opportunity. It's a numbers game where that person share my closet, right? And all her followers see my item. It's a possibility that it might get sold, right? Why wouldn't I share that closet? I would certainly do so. And one other thing I didn't add to this was the description. Make sure when you're describing, you'll be as descriptive as possible with your descriptions. That's an 8. I just added 8, but that's okay. Just be as descriptive as possible with your description. Be as descriptive as possible. Make sure you put the size on, because people ask the size of the shorts or what's the waist. You make sure you put the height, the width, everything in there. Okay. All right. So I hope something I've said, I've kind of helped you out. I'm going to continue to do things like this. Talk about Poshmark and different items. Like I said, I have books, whatever. I will share that with you at some point also. And so, just if you, like I said, if you haven't actually liked this, I hope you like the page. I hope you share, like, comment. If there's anything you want me to do that I'm not doing right, just go ahead and make a suggestion. I'm taking suggestions because I'm new at this and I'm trying to build my channel. So I hope you share, comment, like, subscribe to my page so that we could go together and be a big family, right? Okay, so I hope you guys have a good day, and thank you.